Welcome to Buried Truth channel. Today, we're diving into a story that proves, sometimes, the people you hold closest are the ones you should fear the most. She was the kind of person who saw the good in everyone. Friends, family, neighbors. She offered her trust freely, believing in the inherent kindness of people. She couldn't have imagined that this very trust would lead her down a path of unimaginable terror. It all began on a quiet Tuesday evening. Her life, as she knew it, was about to change forever. She arrived home after a long day at work, her mind already on dinner and relaxing for the night. But as she approached her front door, a cold knot formed in her stomach. The door was slightly ajar. She distinctly remembered locking it that morning. It was a habit, an automatic reflex she never skipped. She pushed the door open, a nervous energy buzzing through her. At first, she tried to rationalize it. Maybe she was just tired and had forgotten. It happens, right? But as she stepped inside, the feeling of unease grew stronger. Things were off. Her favorite pair of shoes, usually neatly placed by the door, were kicked into the middle of the hallway. Across the room, a small ceramic vase lay shattered on the floor, its colorful fragments scattered like confetti from a party she wasn't invited to. Her heart began to pound. Then she saw it. A drawer in her antique desk, the one she always kept locked, was open just a crack. Someone had been in her home. Her first instinct was to grab her phone and call her best friend, the one person in the world she believed she could count on for anything. Her fingers trembled as she dialed the familiar number. When her friend answered, she explained what she had found, her voice shaking. She expected concern, maybe even panic. Instead, the response she received sent a shiver down her spine. "Don't worry about it," her friend said, the voice oddly flat. "It's probably nothing. You're just tired. Just forget it." There was a hesitation, a strange pause before the words came out. It wasn't comforting. It was chilling. Her gut screamed that something was terribly wrong. The next few days were a blur of escalating paranoia. She started noticing more anomalies. Small digital footprints that weren't her own. Emails she hadn't opened were marked as read. Her bank account showed a series of small withdrawals, just a few dollars here and there, amounts so small they were almost unnoticeable. But she noticed. Then the phone calls began. They always came late at night, from blocked numbers. When she answered, there was only silence, punctuated by the faint hiss of static. It felt like she was being watched, monitored from a distance, her life slowly being infiltrated by an invisible enemy. She couldn't tell anyone. After that bizarre call with her best friend, she felt completely isolated. Who could she trust? If she spoke up, she feared it might provoke her tormentor, pushing them from silent observation to something far more dangerous. So she stayed quiet, her fear a constant companion, a shadow that followed her every move. Then came the night that shattered her world completely. She returned from a late shift at work, the exhaustion heavy in her bones. But the moment she opened her door, all fatigue vanished, replaced by sheer terror. Her apartment had been ransacked. Clothes were torn from her closet, drawers were emptied onto the floor, and books were ripped from their shelves. It was a scene of pure chaos. But as she cautiously stepped through the wreckage, she realized something was missing. Or rather, nothing was. Her laptop, her jewelry, the cash she kept in a drawer. It was all still there. This wasn't a burglary. Her eyes scanned the room and landed on the kitchen counter. A single photograph was lying there, face up. Her blood ran cold. It was a photo of her, sleeping in her own bed. It had been taken from outside her window. A wave of nausea washed over her. Tucked beneath the photograph was a small, folded piece of paper. With trembling hands, she picked it up and unfolded it. The note contained just 5 words, written in neat, block letters. "We have always been watching." The "we" hit her like a physical blow. This wasn't a lone stalker. This was a coordinated effort. The betrayal wasn't random. It was personal. Someone she knew, someone she trusted, was behind this elaborate and terrifying game. Panic mixed with a cold, rising fury. She began to retrace every relationship in her life, every conversation, every shared secret. She dissected every interaction, searching for a clue, a crack in the facade, and slowly, horrifying patterns began to emerge. A friend who had seemed a little too curious about her work schedule. A family member who had asked unusual, probing questions about her daily routines. A neighbor whose friendly smile never quite seemed to reach their eyes, who lingered just a little too long during casual chats in the hallway. Each memory was now tainted with suspicion. The people she had built her life around were now suspects in a conspiracy against her. She refused to be a victim. A new determination hardened within her. If they were watching her, she would watch them back. She started gathering proof. She bought miniature cameras and hid them in her apartment. She placed a GPS tracker on her car. She used a voice recorder to capture her phone calls. She was meticulous, she was careful, because she knew that one wrong move, one hint that she was onto them, could cost her everything, including her life. Days bled into sleepless nights. She barely ate. Her world shrank to a single, obsessive focus, piecing together the terrifying truth. With each piece of evidence she collected, the picture became clearer and more monstrous. The people she loved, the people who were supposed to protect her, had all been lying. Each one had a role to play. Each one had a motive: greed, envy, a thirst for some twisted form of revenge she couldn't comprehend. The bonds she once believed were unbreakable were nothing but a web of deceit. The time for hiding was over. The time for confrontation had come. One by one, she confronted them. She met her best friend for coffee, her voice steady as she laid a recording of their phone call on the table. She visited her family, showing them screenshots and bank statements. The confrontations were chilling. Lies crumbled under the weight of her evidence. Facades fell away, revealing the ugly truth beneath. Their motives were pathetic, rooted in petty jealousies and a desire to see her fail. But even as the confessions tumbled out, she knew the danger wasn't over. The mastermind was still hidden. The final revelation hit her like a lightning bolt during a heated argument with the last person on her list. A slip of the tongue, a detail only the true architect would know. The person she had trusted the most, the one she believed would shield her from any harm, had orchestrated the entire scheme from the very beginning. It was the ultimate betrayal. Her world was in ruins, but she was still standing. She knew she couldn't undo the past, but she could take control of her future. With a mountain of undeniable evidence in hand, she walked into the police station. She exposed the entire web of lies and secrets that had nearly destroyed her.